Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So it seems to be that Tony Ferguson finally left the UFC and is signing with the GFL. For those of you guys that don't know what the GFL is, it's a global fighting league, and it's a new organization that's going to be taking on MMA. Now, this is something that we pretty much all saw coming because, as we know, Tony Ferguson has been going through a pretty damn steep downturn in his career. He had an incredible streak a couple of years ago where we did see Tony Ferguson achieve very impressive feats in the lightweight division, which is a very stacked and competitive division. He went 12-0 from the years 2013 to 2019, which was very, very impressive. But in his later years, 2020 to 2025, he hasn't won a single fight. He's gone 8-0 pretty much, or 0-8 in his last 8 fights, which is very disappointing to see because Tony Ferguson is one of those guys that is definitely a fan favorite. He definitely does have a lot of fans out there, and it's pretty disappointing to see Tony Ferguson just lose fight after fight after fight. When everybody's just so used to him putting on incredible performances and pretty much demolishing his opponents, which it's just unfortunate, but I think that this needed to happen. Tony Ferguson just isn't able to compete in the UFC anymore. There's just young, hungry guys that are in their peak of their physical prime. And right now, I think that the UFC is definitely seeing a turn or like a switch of competition, because I definitely do think that nowadays we are seeing UFC fighters that are a lot more defensively responsible. They have a lot more clever offensive and defensive schemes, and overall there's just better systems because there's more coaches out there that have a lot more experience, and the overall knowledge out there right now in the UFC seems to be just expanding now more than ever. So I think that this was a thing that needed to happen, because as we all know, Tony Ferguson has never been a guy that pretty much was ever defensively responsible ever in his career. And now that he is older, his athleticism just isn't there anymore, and the lack of defensive prowess that he has, is just not enough anymore. But now he's signing with the GFL, and I think that this is a very particular niche that needed to happen because, as we all know, there's fighters right now that are pretty much out of a job, and the GFL is pretty much going to pick up on a lot of that niche of fighters that just need a paycheck and that they need a job and they still want to be able to compete. Now, I know that Tony Ferguson isn't nowhere near his prime, but he's going to be a gigantic fucking draw, because there's people out there that just want to see him win. There's people out there that just want to see him compete, and this is a very interesting piece of information here that I'm reading, that 74 out of 120 GFL draft picks are 35 years and older. So and there's a little old man emoji sign here. Personally, I do think that the GFL is kind of doing this thing where they're trying to pick up a lot of fighters that are way out of their prime. Fighters that pretty much were. Let's be honest. There has been where they had an incredible young career, but as they got older, they got pretty much outed, from the bigger organizations. But I think that this is a good thing because a lot of those fighters, like I said, they need a job and they need a paycheck, and the GFL is going to be definitely fulfilling on that niche. Now, I think that this is pretty funny. We're gonna go ahead and listen to this pretty interesting piece of promo here, because uh, this is completely freaking AI, but I just think it's the most freaking cartoonish piece of AI. You ought to know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest. Bro, this corny. I didn't even I didn't even Oh my god. I'm pretty sure Tony Ferguson is on this piece of ad as well. Iron Woodley.
knuckles avow. Keep darkness in captivity so it may not devour my sanity, clarity, both teetering on the brink. I'm staring
Anthony Pettis, I did not know Anthony Pettis was signed to the GFL either.
cradle the fists that clash. Taste the salted sweat of regret each time I lash. If I can't find a ring or a mat, the monster tears at the seam, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck. You come next. You oughta know best. This ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
All right, so there you guys have it. A little piece of corny promo there. I'm not the biggest fan of AI, in my honest opinion, even though, yes, I have I'm majoring in artificial intelligence. I don't like it in the artistic aspect, if I'm being completely honest. But, you know, the GFL is doing their thing. And I honestly really do enjoy the fact that, yeah, they got Tony Ferguson now. And Tony Ferguson is going to be doing his thing in the GFL. Hopefully he does pick up a couple of wins soon. I would definitely like to see Tony Ferguson finally pick up a win, especially against, you know, fighters that are a little bit closer to his age, you know, fighters that are a little bit closer to where he's at right now in his career, because let's be honest, he's not able to compete in the UFC anymore. Like I said earlier in the video, I do think that he's probably gonna end up picking up a winner soon. And if he's not able to compete in the GFL, I'm gonna just go ahead and be honest, man. As good as Tony Ferguson was when he's younger, if he's not able to compete in the GFL against older guys that are much more closer to his skill level and where they're at also in their career, I think it should be time for Tony Ferguson to literally freaking retire. If he cannot compete in the GFL, I don't want to see him take any more punishment. I don't want to see him get, like a career-ending injury. I honestly would say I would just rather see Tony Ferguson goes like on a 3-fight losing streak in the GFL, or something similar to that number. Honest with you guys, I think that it would be pretty bad for his career. I think once he starts hitting like double-digit losses, like 10 in a row, that's going to be freaking terrible. And I would hate to see that freaking happen to someone as legendary as Tony Ferguson with his incredible 12-0 run from 2013 to 2019. An incredible moment in the UFC, an incredible moment in the MMA history overall. For him to go into double-digit losses, I think would definitely impact his legacy a lot. But hopefully that's not the case. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you guys think that Tony Ferguson moving to the GFL was a good move? Are you guys even going to be watching the GFL? Personally, I am. I'm going to be keeping up with everything MMA related. I do think that the GFL is going towards the right direction and getting people that know